I had a few eggs, some old potato bread from my favourite bakery, and a packet of smoked salmon in the fridge, which felt pretty breakfast coded, but I wanted something a little bit different. At this point, I thought I was going to make some sort of big omelette on toast, so I got cracking, beating and thinking. I started thinking about sandwiches and realised I had quite a few of the bits you might find in an everything bagel. I didn't have any cream cheese, but I did have some creme fraiche, which I knew worked in omelettes. When fat's added to eggs, it can protect the curds from becoming hardened by heat too easily. I beat it in along with a good grind of black pepper, some black onion seeds for that dried onion hit, some sesame oil because I didn't have any sesame seeds, and some raw grated garlic because I didn't have any garlic granules. Things were starting to smell pretty bagely. I tasted the mix for seasoning, adjusted accordingly, and thought about other possibilities that didn't involve omelettes as it felt a little bit boring. I grabbed my bread and clocked it had some poppy seeds on the crust. I scraped some into the mix to add to that kind of everything bagel vibe. In Italy, they make a savoury bread and butter pudding with leftover bread and cheese. It's called a strata. I thought an everything bagel flavoured strata could bang, so I cut the crust from the bread and sliced it into fun thick strips to give more options later. I chucked the strips into the egg mix, tossed it up and set it aside to soak. You can't have an everything bagel without red onion, but I knew that I would need something acidic too to counter the stodgy strata. I sliced up the onion, got it into a container and added vinegar, salt and sugar to make a quick pickle. Shaking it like this helps the onion pickle faster because you're physically breaking down cell walls and softening the onion each time the slices hit the wall of a container at speed. I grabbed a loaf tin for the strata, hoping that I could turn it out later and maybe slice it back into something that ironically resembled a slice of bread. I greased it, cheesed it, which turned out to be a bit of a mistake, and packed in the everything bagel flavoured soaked bread. I didn't fancy grating parmesan over the top because it can tend to taste a bit weird when subjected to dry heat in the oven. While the strata baked, I grabbed a final piece of the puzzle. I didn't have any capers, but I did have these caper berries, which I thought would work just as well. Once the strata was golden, crisp and gorgeous smelling, I grabbed it from the oven and turned it out, which was made pretty hard by the cheese layer from earlier. The difficulty was not worth a taste in this case. I cut a couple of slices and was pretty happy with the result. I did want a bit more crunch and gnarliness though, so I fried them until golden in a little oil. Once the twice cooked strata was ready, I plated them up, topped with salmon and a blob of extra creme fraiche for softness. Then the onions and capers for colour and acidity.